You should be afraid, not of failure, not of poverty. You should be afraid of the man staring back at you in the mirror 20 years from now, the one who spent his life trying but never becoming. Look closely. That ghost is waiting for you. He is made of every task you delayed, every morning you hit snooze, and every time you chose the comfort of the crowd over the cold silence of the mission. Most people watch videos like this to feel better. They want a pat on the back. This transmission is different. This is not intended to help you. It is intended to kill a part of you. It is a funeral for your mediocrity. If you aren't ready to sacrifice the person you are for the person you want to become, close this tab. You are wasting your time, and in the Psychology 1884 system, time is the only currency we do not refund. Think of the modern world as a digital casino. There are no clocks, no windows, and every ding is a slot machine pull designed to keep you seated while your life's capital drains to zero. Most people, the 99%, are digital serfs. They respond to every stimulus. They eat when they are hungry, scroll when they are bored, and work only when they feel motivated. They are biological machines. They are predictable, and because they are predictable, they are controllable. The sovereign is an anomaly. He is the one who walks out of the casino while the lights are still flashing. He is the one who understands that discipline is not a chore. It is a declaration of war against a world that wants you weak, distracted, and poor. Why are you here? To be liked? To be understood? The masses spend their lives in a state of social liquidation. They adjust their dreams so they don't make their friends feel insecure. They please everyone and end up owning nothing. They are terrified of being, quote, different. The sovereign has a different objective: intimidation through determination. When you walk into a room after 6 months of absolute monastic discipline, you don't need to speak. Your aura does the talking. People will admire you, yes, but they will also be afraid of you. They will be afraid because your presence reminds them of their own cowardice. Your discipline is a mirror that shows them exactly what they've lost. You aren't here to be part of the tribe. You are here to lead it or leave it behind. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." You are currently a slave to your chemistry. You are a puppet of your prefrontal cortex's exhaustion. But today, we stop negotiating. We are moving from the mood-based life of a serf to the system-based life of a god king. The 37x metamorphosis requires a price. That price is the absolute surgical removal of your excuses. We are about to enter the 8 protocols of the dictatorship of the will. Part 1. Systems over goals. Goals are for the weak. Goals are for people who like to dream but hate to build. Winners and losers have the same goals. Every athlete wants the gold medal. Every bankrupt man wanted to be rich. The goal is a fantasy. The system is the reality. If you say, "I want to get fit," you have already lost. You have given your brain a hit of dopamine for a result you haven't earned. The sovereign doesn't want to be fit. The sovereign has a system. I strike the iron at 5 p.m. every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Rain is irrelevant. Mood is irrelevant. The world ending is irrelevant. Most of you are goal addicts. You spend your nights dreaming of the mountain peak, the fit body, the $1 million account, the status, and your brain rewards you for it. It releases a hit of dopamine for a result you haven't earned. This is called future faking. By setting a goal, you are tricking your brain into feeling like a winner while you are still a loser sitting on your couch. In the Psychology 1884 worldview, a goal is a ransom note. You are holding your own happiness hostage until you reach a destination that may never come. You are living in a state of pre-success failure. The serf lives for the one day. The sovereign lives for the everyday. If you are waiting for a goal to make you feel powerful, you have already surrendered your sovereignty to the future. Choice is the enemy of discipline. Every time you have to decide to work, you are giving the animal in your brain a chance to lobby for comfort. A system is the death of choice. You don't decide to brush your teeth, you just do it. You don't decide to breathe, you just do it. Your discipline must become as automatic as your heartbeat. If you don't have a system, you don't have a life. You have a to-do list that acts as your own suicide note. You are waiting for a miracle, while the sovereign is busy being the miracle. A system is a machine that makes success mathematically inevitable. If your system is solid, the goal becomes a byproduct, a mere shadow cast by the machine you've built. While the drifters are waiting for the right moment to hit their goals, you are simply executing the code. Compare yourself to them right now. They are waiting for a miracle. You are building a factory. Who do you think the universe will reward? Compare your calendar to your goals. If your system doesn't match your dream is just a lie you tell yourself to sleep at night. Part 2. Identity as a weapon. Listen to your own words. They are a confession of your inferiority. Every time you say, "I'm trying to be disciplined," you are signing a document of surrender. Trying is the language of the victim. It is a built-in excuse for the moment you inevitably fail. When you say you are trying, you are telling the world, and more importantly, your own subconscious, that your natural state is laziness, and you are merely visiting the land of the productive. In the Psychology 1884 system, we do not try, we usurp. Niccolo Machiavelli wrote in The Prince, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are." Most of you appear to be drifters because your internal identity is that of a serf. You are a wannabe. You are a hopeful. These are masks of weakness. To become a sovereign, you must perform a psychological coup d'etat. You must kill the you that exists today to make room for the you that commands tomorrow. To understand this, compare the actor to the mask. The inferior person believes identity is something you find through self-discovery. They spend years searching for themselves, while their potential rots. They think they are the actor, and they are waiting for the right role to come along. The superior person understands that identity is a technology. It is a mask you forge and then melt onto your own face. You don't find discipline. You decide that you are a disciplined person. You don't try to go to the gym. You are an athlete. When you change your identity, you change the firmware of your brain. A computer doesn't try to run a program. It either has the code or it doesn't. If your internal code is "I am a failure," then no amount of trying will save you. You are running a corrupted operating system. You must delete the old self. You must be the executioner of your own past. The smell of sovereignty. Humans are social predators. We can smell weakness. We can smell the effort of someone who is pretending to be something they are not. When you tell people you are trying to be better, they offer you pity. Pity is the most insulting emotion a human can receive. It confirms that they see you as below them. They want you to try, because as long as you are trying, you are not a threat. The sovereign doesn't seek pity. He seeks awe. When your identity is locked, when you are the person who does the work, your energy changes. You stop looking for validation. You stop explaining yourself. You start to move with a cold, terrifying certainty. People will notice. They will see that you are no longer playing the same game. You have moved from the livestock pen to the predator's ridge. They will judge you, they will call you arrogant, but they will never again mistake you for one of them. The first decree. Identity visualization is not dreaming. It is surgical transmutation. You must visualize the person you want to become so vividly that the current version of you feels like a stranger, an imposter that needs to be removed. Ask yourself, would the sovereign version of me negotiate with this alarm clock? Would the final form version of me be scrolling through this feed? If the answer is no, then the person doing those things isn't you. It's a parasite living in your skin. Kill the parasite. Claim the throne. Part 3. Expecting boredom. You are a junkie. You don't inject heroin, but you inject, quote, novelty. Every time you seek a new hack, a new strategy, or a new vision, you are simply chasing a chemical high. The modern world has conditioned you to believe that if you aren't excited, you aren't living. In the Psychology 1884 system, we call this the stimulation trap. Most people, the commoners, fail not because the work is too hard, but because the work is too quiet. They are terrified of the silence. When the initial shout of motivation dies down, and the long gray whisper of repetition begins, they flee. They start a new project, buy a new book, or check their phone. Anything to escape the horizontal desert of the mundane. They are children crying for a toy, while the sovereign is a man preparing for a siege. To understand the difference between success and failure, compare the firework to the tide. The inferior person is a firework. He wants the bang. He wants the applause. He wants to feel the heat of his own passion. But fireworks leave nothing behind but smoke and ash. They cannot build. The sovereign is the tide. The tide doesn't feel like coming in today. It isn't inspired by the moon. It is a mathematical, gravitational inevitability. It is boring. It is repetitive. It is relentless. Machiavelli understood that the masses are fickle. They love you when things are new and exciting, but they desert you when the reality of the struggle sets in. If you rely on excitement to do your work, you are building your empire on a foundation of clouds. You must learn to love the gray hours. You must learn to find a cold, clinical satisfaction in doing the exact same thing, at the exact same time, with the exact same intensity, for the 10,000th time. Look at your competitors. They are all passionate. They all have energy. They are all waiting for the vibe to be right. This is your greatest advantage. You don't need to be smarter than them. You just need to be more comfortable with boredom. The sovereign knows that greatness is just a pile of boring tasks, stacked so high that they become a monument. While the others are looking for shortcuts and fun, you are embracing the monotony of power. When you can sit in a room and perform the same high-level task for 4 hours without needing a reward, you have achieved a level of dominance that no one can touch. You have effectively outweighted the world. While they are distracting themselves to death, you are focusing yourself to life. Their inability to handle boredom is the reason they will eventually work for you. Expect the boredom. Welcome it like an old friend. When the voice in your head says, "This is dull," or "I've done this before," smile. That is the sound of the apex version of you taking control. That is the sound of your competition quitting. If it's not boring, you probably aren't doing it right. Mastery is the ability to stay in the desert until you own it. Part 5. Delaying judgment. You are an emotional infant. The moment you start a new protocol, you look for a reward. After 3 days of work, you check your views. After 1 week of training, you look in the mirror for a muscle that hasn't grown yet. You are performing a premature autopsy on your own success. By judging the quote results before the system has finished its cycle, you are effectively killing the process. In our worldview, early judgment is a form of cowardice. It is a backdoor you leave open so you can justify quitting when the numbers don't move fast enough. You want the world to tell you you're a genius before you've even finished the foundation. The inferior person needs constant feedback to feel, quote, valid. The sovereign operates in a total information embargo. He doesn't need the world to tell him he's winning. He already knows the math. To understand why you remain stagnant, compare the seed to the concrete. The subordinate is the person who digs up the seed. They are so insecure, so desperate for proof of their progress, that they destroy the very roots they are trying to grow. They judge the harvest in the middle of winter. The apex architect treats his work like pouring concrete. Once the frame is set and the pour begins, he doesn't touch it. He doesn't check it. He doesn't ask the concrete if it feels strong today. He allows the chemical reaction of time to do its work in the dark. As Robert Greene writes in the 48 Laws of Power, when you show yourself to the world and display your talents, you naturally stir all kinds of resentment, envy, and other manifestations of insecurity. By judging your work early, you are inviting the world's insecurity, and your own, into the lab. You are breaking the seal of the monastic strike. Look at the content creators and entrepreneurs on your feed. They spend 50% of their energy telling the world what they plan to do. They are performance artists of success. They seek the dopamine of the like, because they lack the discipline to wait for the sovereign result. This is where you execute your social massacre. You enter the ghost phase. You stop announcing. You stop evaluating. You stop looking for signs from the universe. While the masses are busy manifesting and sharing their journey, you are busy becoming an invisible force. When you finally emerge after 6 months of silent, non-judged execution, the gap between you and them will be so vast that they won't even understand how you got there. They will call it luck, because they cannot comprehend the discipline of zero evaluation. They are day traders of effort. You are an institutional investor in your own soul. Establish a personal embargo. Decide right now. No judgment for 90 days. No. How am I doing? No. Is this working? You are a machine in a black box. The output is all that matters, and the output is non-negotiable. If you can't work for 3 months without a pat on the back, you aren't a sovereign. You're just a child playing dress-up in your father's suit. Part 6. The internal dictatorship. Most of you live in a mental democracy. Every morning, you hold a vote. You ask your feelings if you should work. You ask your body if it's too tired. You ask your cravings if you deserve a treat. This is why your life is a disaster. Democracy in the mind is just another word for anarchy. You cannot build an empire on a committee of whims. In the Psychology 1884 system, we do not vote. We legislate. You must become the dictator of your own soul. A dictator doesn't hope the citizens obey. He creates laws that are backed by the threat of execution. If you don't have non-negotiable rules, you don't have a character. You have a free trial of a personality that expires the moment things get difficult. As Friedrich Nietzsche said, "He who cannot obey himself will be commanded." That is the nature of living creatures. If you won't command yourself, the world, the algorithms, the bosses, the distractions, will gladly do it for you. To understand your position in the hierarchy, compare the thermometer to the thermostat. The inferior person is a thermometer. He merely reflects the environment. If it's Monday, he's depressed. If it's sunny, he's happy. If his phone pings, he reacts. He is a slave to the ambient temperature of his surroundings. The sovereign is the thermostat. He sets the temperature. His rules are the set point of his reality. I've seen this 1,000 times. The man who says, "I'll try not to check my phone," is a thermometer. He will fail the moment the heat of a notification hits him. The man who says, "I do not check my phone before noon," has set a law of physics. He has removed the choice. He has stopped reacting and started commanding. In my experience, the moment you begin to explain why you have a rule to others, you have already lost your power. A law does not need an excuse. It only needs enforcement. Look at how the commoners interact. They are constantly negotiating their values. They say no, but their eyes say maybe. This is why nobody respects them. They are social vermin, scurrying for approval. When you establish non-negotiable rules, you become an immovable object. When you tell the world, "I do not take meetings after 4 p.m. or I do not eat processed sugar," you aren't just managing your time, you are training the world how to treat you. People who are flexible are people who are easily broken. The sovereign is brittle in his discipline because he is a diamond. You will be called difficult. You will be called intense. These are compliments. It means the serfs have realized they cannot bend you to their level of mediocrity. You are superior because your boundaries are made of iron, while theirs are made of mist. Build your border. Write down 3 laws today that are non-negotiable. Not goals, laws. If you break them, you must feel the sting of a traitor's shame. If you don't have a no that is absolute, your yes is worthless. Part 7. The Purge. Most of you are addicted to the drama of struggle. You think that staring at a chocolate bar and not eating it makes you a hero. You think that leaving your phone on the desk and choosing not to check it makes you disciplined. In the Psychology 1884 system, we call this stupid bravery. You are fighting a war you have already lost. Willpower is a finite resource, a battery that drains with every single no you say to yourself. By keeping temptations in your visual field, you are forcing your brain to perform 1,000 micro-exertions of self-control. You are a soldier walking through a minefield because you're too brave to take the paved road. Machiavelli understood that it is easier to destroy an enemy before they enter your territory than to fight them at your palace gates. If you rely on your strength to resist, you are inferior. You are a slave who enjoys the sound of his own chains. The sovereign doesn't resist, he sanitizes. To understand your environmental failure, compare the guard to the wall. The subordinate is the guard. He believes his focus is strong enough to keep the intruders out. But guards get tired, guards get bored, guards get distracted. Eventually, the enemy, the dopamine, the social media, the junk food, slips past. The sovereign is the wall. He doesn't rely on focus. He relies on architecture. He understands that you cannot be distracted by what does not exist. I've sat in rooms with elite performers who physically lock their phones in timed safes and throw their TV remotes into the trash. They don't do this because they are strong. They do it because they are smart enough to know they are biologically weak. In my opinion, if you have your phone in the same room where you work, you aren't a serious person. You're a hobbyist playing with fire and wondering why your house is burning down. You are inviting the assassin into your bedroom and hoping he forgets to bring his knife. Look at the average man. His environment is a museum of his own weaknesses. His kitchen is a shrine to his cravings. His digital world is a buffet of distractions. He lives in a state of constant, low-level war with himself. This is why he is perpetually exhausted and socially stagnant. The sovereign performs a surgical purge. He sanitizes his lab until there is nothing left but the work. While the masses are testing their willpower, you are automating your success. You are superior because you have removed the possibility of the wrong choice. As Sun Tzu wrote in The Art of War, the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Stop fighting your temptations. Kill them. Delete the apps. Throw out the sugar. Lock the phone. If you have to see the enemy to beat them, you've already given them too much power. Part 8. The Liquidation of Feelings. Motivation is a chemical hallucination. It is the fickle friend that Machiavelli warned you about, the one who promises to stand by you when the sun is shining, but is the first to desert you when the blade is at your throat. Most of you are still waiting. You're waiting to feel like working. You're waiting for the vibe to be right. You are effectively holding your entire future hostage to a temporary spike in dopamine. This isn't just laziness, it is emotional servitude. If your empire depends on how you feel when you wake up, you don't have an empire. Oh, you have a hobby. You are a slave to your own biology, a prisoner of your own neurotransmitters. The inferior man is a leaf in the wind, moving only when the breeze of inspiration pushes him. The sovereign is the wind itself. To understand your recurring failure, compare the drunken navigator to the autopilot. The subordinate is the navigator. He relies on his passion. When he's excited, he steers well. When he's hungover or tired, he lets the ship drift toward the rocks. He is inconsistent, unreliable, and ultimately, a liability. The apex architect uses an autopilot. He has replaced feelings with protocols. He doesn't ask the autopilot if it feels like flying through a storm. The machine doesn't have a soul, it only has a mission. I've stood in the presence of men who have built billion-dollar legacies, and I noticed something terrifying. They are remarkably boring. They don't talk about passion or hustle. They talk about schedules. They talk about quotas. In my experience, the more someone talks about motivation, the less they are actually doing. They are trying to talk themselves into a state of action, while the sovereign has already finished the task before his brain even realized he was tired. Look at the amateurs who populate your social circle. They are mood chasers. They are the ones who start a YouTube channel, a business, or a diet, and quit 3 weeks later because it stopped being fun. They are social debris, cluttering the path to greatness. This is where you assert your superiority. While the masses are waiting for the spark, you are operating in the cold dark. You work when you're tired. You work when you're bored. You work when you're grieving. By liquidating your feelings, you remove the only thing that can stop you. You become inevitable. The world is terrified of a man who cannot be talked out of his goals by his own discomfort. You are superior because you have realized that your feelings are irrelevant data points in the calculation of your destiny. Stop looking for the spark. Become the furnace. Motivation is a luxury for those who don't mind being average. Discipline is the necessity for those who refuse to be forgotten. If you need to feel like a king to act like one, you will die a peasant. The execution is complete. The version of you that walked into this video is dead. If you have truly internalized these 8 protocols, you are no longer a member of society. You are an anomaly. Most people believe that the reward for discipline is, quote, success. They are wrong. The real reward is sovereignty. You have reclaimed your will from the algorithms, from your cravings, and from the fickle moods of the masses. You have effectively exited the human zoo. But be warned, the world does not like it when a prisoner walks out of his cell. As Niccolo Machiavelli famously observed, it is much safer to be feared than loved, if one of the two must be lacking. By choosing discipline, you have chosen to be feared. To understand how the world will treat you now, compare the window to the mirror. The inferior person is a window. People look through them. They are transparent, predictable, and non-threatening. They blend into the background of everyone else's lives because they have no core. The sovereign is a mirror. Because you have purged your weaknesses, because you have established non-negotiable laws, you become a reflection of everyone else's failures. When you walk into a room, people won't just see you. They will see the 5 a.m. workouts they skipped. They will see the deep work they were too distracted to finish. They will see the mood-based life they are still trapped in. I've watched this happen in real time. I've seen men transform their lives through the Psychology 1884 protocols, and suddenly, their friends start to pull away. They'll call you obsessed, cold, or robotic. In my opinion, these aren't insults. They are the white flags of the defeated. They are trying to shame you back into the herd because your existence makes them feel socially obsolete. They will judge you. They will try to find a crack in your armor. They will wait for you to fail so they can feel normal again. Do not give them that satisfaction. Your determination must be so absolute that it creates a gravity well. Instead of you pleasing them, they will find themselves instinctively trying to please you. They will crave your approval because your approval is the only one that carries the weight of true power. You are the predator now. Not because you are cruel, but because you are unstoppable. The final decree: the world is full of drifters, waiting for a leader. But a sovereign does not lead the weak, he builds the strong. Go back to your lab. Close the door. Execute the protocols. Let them wonder. Let them whisper. Let them fear. You didn't come here to be one of them. You came here to be the one who survived. The dictatorship of the will is now in session. Disappear.